Amusement parks. One of the biggest scams in the world. A place where you spend $40 to walk around a huge germ-infested roller coaster graveyard and spend $4 for a water. And most amusement parks use Dasani, which has salt. Salt makes you thirsty. But a big issue in amusement parks is injuries. You know, like jumping off rides, drowning, stealing someone's croissant, and even scarier, sometimes the rides malfunction and you go flying. But I'll talk more about that later. I need to talk about an amusement park you might have heard of, but most likely not. The most dangerous amusement park ever, Action Park. This might sound like a normal amusement park, but 7 people died. And if you went, you will 100% get hurt or get an injury while you're there. How did this happen? Well, in the late 70s, a man named Gene Mulvihill wanted to make an amusement park. But he wanted to make an amusement park that was his idea. An amusement park where the people who visited had control of the rides. You know when you go to any other amusement park and you're on like a car ride and you don't control where you're going, you follow a track. Well, in Action Park, you controlled what you did, you controlled how fast you went, and you could control how long you stayed on the ride. And he would let anyone design a ride, even if they had no experience in engineering. And that led to this. What the a water slide with a loop in it. This was the Cannonball Loop ride, where you'd go down this steep slide and go through a loop and come out the other end. People would get nosebleeds all the time. There would be constant head injuries, and one rider even got stuck at the top of the loop. Oh, and this wasn't the first. But luckily, it was only open for a month. But there's more. The wave pool, which scarily is nicknamed the wave pool. Now, you've probably been in a wave pool before. They're a fairly new thing. But Action Park was one of the first places to do one, and they did it wrong. The thing that set this off from a normal wave pool was that the waves were extremely higher than a normal wave pool, like Hurricane Irma waves. And this led to 3 deaths. An even scarier ride, which is kind of the main attraction, you get pulled up a mountain by a ski lift that broke down every other day, and you'd get in a cart and basically be in a concrete water slide without water. But the carts were not attached to the track, and most of the carts were broken, so half of the carts went super slow, or the other half were sonic. So that means a person going sonic fast in a car could slam into the back of a slow car. And since the track was concrete, every single time you went on this ride, you'd get covered in concrete scrape burns. And there was a death on this ride. Surprising? Someone flew off the track, which happened like every day, hit their head on a boulder, and died in the hospital a few days later. Another ride was the canoe ride. One person died because they touched an electric wire. And they died from that? What the? And to make things worse, a lot of the workers were extremely young. 15, 16, and even 17-year-olds. So many people got injured that they had to buy ambulances just for the park. And the best part, they had to set up their own insurance company in the Cayman Islands just to keep up with everything. Finally, after 20 years of deaths, injuries, and legal problems, they closed in 1996. And of course, I was alive during this because I'm 90 years old, and it was crazy. Now, this also happens with other amusement parks, but fortunately not as often. Now, everyone has heard of the company Styx. There's a Six Flags in almost every big city in America. And I went to Six Flags for spring break, I think. And since I'm a huge baby, I didn't want to go on a ride with a loop. Six Flags. So I just went on a ride that lifted you super high and spin you around. Pretty cool ride. I liked rides that spin, but I wasn't expecting something to happen on my 5th time on the ride. I was on my way up and I heard a weird clicking noise that I hadn't heard on the other rides as we were going up, but it was really loud, and I was a little bit concerned. I looked down at the control booth and they were fiddling with the controls, and at the top where we were supposed to start spinning, it didn't. It just stopped. And eventually the motors turned off. I was the only one on the ride since it was busy at the time. Then I was very scared. I thought that it had broke down. Then I heard the motors of the ride turn back on and I was so relieved. And it started spinning, which was supposed to happen. But the scariest part was I heard a click, and then the whole thing started to zoom down to the ground like a drop tower, which is not what was supposed to happen. But luckily, within like a split second of it dropping, it stopped and safely went down to the bottom. I got off the ride and ran off, and an employee came up to me and asked,
"Sorry, are you okay from the ride?"
"What kind of question is that?" "Oh, I'm fine. I totally didn't just almost die on your stupid ride."
Shut up.
I went to a bench near the ride the rest of my family was on, but I decided to get back on and go on it once more. But then my family had gotten off, and I didn't tell them. I have no clue why I've never told my family, but now they're watching the video. So, hot! Hello everybody, thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe and follow my Instagram because I am lonely. Sorry that the animation was kinda lazy in this video because I didn't really care. And I wanted a lot more time to work on my next video, which I'm trying to make my videos more better. And like some of the more skilled, better looking drawing animators, because I kind of suck at doing those. So yeah, thanks for watching, and click that subscribe button, and enjoy this elevator music. Bye.